this brand new game that's 10 years old.
That's right. Okay, it looks like everything is on the screen to me. I think
Alright.
we are probably good now.
So I'm good to give a countdown?
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. And if anybody is wondering, you can play as Luigi by holding down L and R at the start and selecting any file. There is no difference between Mario and Luigi in this game. They control exactly the same. The only difference is obviously that you're playing as Luigi and you get Luigi sound effects, which are better anyway, so... In my opinion, you've donated for a better experience today. At least in the sound effects department. The jury's still out on the gameplay, but we'll see how that goes. So the one of the main things that this game introduced compared to, well, didn't really introduce, but borrowed from 3D Mario games was triple jumping. And it's really useful, gets you up into a lot higher places. And that'll become very apparent, especially in World 2. So in any percent, I would want a blue shell to show up here in a red block, but in warpless, or cannonless as the community also likes to call it, the only real time save you can get there from a red block is getting Fire Flower there, because then you don't have to make 2 stops. Oh my. It would figure that this was the level I didn't practice, thinking it was free, and I made a mistake on it, so,
Yep.
go figure that one out.
Without fail.
Also, hi, Supreme.
Hey man, how's it going?
I'm pretty good.
Figured I'd let you get through the introductory stuff.
Okay, I need to get a blue shell here for a later level.
And for those of you not familiar with this game, the blue shell is an item introduced and I think exclusive. I don't think it appears, at least in this form, in any other game.
Yeah.
But it's it basically makes you a Koopa Troopa, and you can kind of just speed through levels rolling on your shell.
In any percent, it's pretty much it's required to get through one of the warps in this level, but I don't need it until World 5. And for marathon safety's sake, I'm not going to go for the faster cycle here because it's a pretty decent chance I'll die if I go for it, and there's an even faster cycle which the TAS uses, which a couple runners have started to be crazy enough to try and go for it in runs, or at least practice it.
Here we go.
The task cycle saves 14 seconds over the one I did, and the fast cycle, which is in between, saves 7 seconds.
Yay for me.
Just a quick reminder for you guys watching. The next game up is the Disney game. Whether that will be The Lion King or Aladdin is up to you. There's currently a donation war going on for that. And let's see. It looks like Lion King is at $180 and Aladdin is at $70. So if you want to see either one of those, get your donations in, because this is the last run before that decision is made.
So that's a pretty good example of how red blocks can get in the way. Not only do they get in the way in levels, they get in the way in the overworld and just cost a whole lot of time. They're basically...
So you got the trade-off of it not moving, but then you had to hit it in the level.
Yeah. Thankfully, when you hit a red block, it removes it from the overworld, and sometimes it doesn't respawn. so maybe I'll get a little bit lucky there. But it's essentially the equivalent of Hammer Brothers running around and wasting time in Super Mario Brothers 3. Well, since I spent a little bit of time grabbing that, now's a pretty good time to go over star coins. Star coins are used to open up extra paths and other mushroom houses. In the normal run that I would do, I would get 10 of them. One of them to get a mushroom house for a mini mushroom, and that was unexpected. Alright, a little bit of slop here and there, but we're still going. Anyway, as I was saying, I would normally get 10 star coins, but World 7 is really awful in this run because you have to complete the entire world without losing your mini mushroom power-up, so I'm going to be collecting 5 extra star coins to make up for that. And they're thankfully not too far out of the way. It's usually just spending an extra second or two to get it. And this is one that I would normally skip. So if I still had Fire Flower, I would be able to just kill Bowser with fire here. And that saves just a little bit of time because you can hit the switch and Bowser will be dying a horrible fiery death at the same time as the bridge collapsing, as opposed to waiting for him to fall down. It's probably the most gruesome Bowser death I've ever seen in any Mario game.
And the other thing to note,
Might have to turn 18 plus on for this stream now.
the mechanic of spinning while in midair was not introduced in this game. It actually was introduced in Wii.
Yes, that's a good point to bring up, since I imagine a lot of people's experience with NSMB nowadays is through good old Mario Maker. I am not thinking right now.
So there's no spin jumping to do little things like you saw when you had to jump on that Bowser ledge. There was no spin you could have done to speed that up a little bit. There's just a lot of tight jumps. You see he's kind of teetering right on the edge of that poke, several of those pokies throughout the level. So
that last star coin in particular looks really cool when you get it right.
So tell me about the flag thing you're doing here. You're turning before you grab every flag to face the right.
So similar to the Lost Levels, if you're facing to the right when you hit the flagpole, you turn around and you lose a little bit of time by doing that. So by facing the direction of the exit, you basically skip that animation. Oh my god, please.
Lakitu is gonna Lakitu, man.
Yeah, so I was trying to slow down there to make it so I could hit him, or one, dodge the spiny and hit him with a fireball afterwards.
Yeah, Dan Sydney in chat brings up a good point. There's a lot more. It's pretty much more about classic Mario platforming, with the inclusion of the triple jump. It's not like Wii where you get the hover suit or the flying squirrel, any of that stuff.
Yeah, and even the blue shell is, at least in this category, isn't used much at all. It's just used for one secret exit. So I'm gonna have to skip that star coin since I'm not Fire Flower, but or Fire Mario rather, or Fire Luigi. I can't think right now. Thankfully, there are 17 coins I can get along the way, so missing that one isn't going to be the end of the world.
But you saw there, Alta kind of was dead center of the flag, and you saw that kind of turn animation. Just a little bit of time lost that would add up if you just didn't bother with it throughout the run.
That little wall kick there makes it a little bit harder to get it, but otherwise not really a big deal.
Oh.
Yeah, getting through these parts without Fire Flower can be an issue. So these trampolines, I'm gonna have to go back and get that.
We have a $4.20 donation from McNuggies. Not to be
baby.
confused with McNuggies 420. Just McNuggies this time. It says, "Weed can show you the world, Aladdin." Thank you very much for your
I
donation.
cannot believe how bad I'm playing right now.
It's alright, man. Gotta get it straightened out. There you go. There you go.
I had to get that star coin because I missed the previous one. Okay, anyway, the trampolines. If you let go of the D-pad when you jump, it uncaps your speed. So it's similar to various platformers where holding right will cap your speed. The go-to example I usually go for that is Sonic 2. So yeah, fire is very... Wow. I can't believe this, man. Fire is very important, not only because it gives you a little bit of a safety net, but a lot of bosses are killed quickly with it, as you've seen on the previous ones. Alright, it's okay. I'm bringing all this back in World 5 and 7. It's in times like these where it's good to know where all the backup items are.
And so this game also did not have just the straight up Koopa Kids as bosses, as you see in Wii and NSMBU. It does have some unique bosses like Zombie Pokey, which is already dead.
This is another thing to point out, that I'm not required to beat all the worlds in this run because of how the game is set up. You can kind of see on the bottom screen there that World 2 and 5 branch out. And to go to the branching world, you need to beat the boss with Mini Mushroom, which I end up doing that in World 5. And that's part of what makes World 7 so tough, is there's a secret exit in World 7 that requires the Mini Mushroom. So you have to carry it through all the way to World 7. And at least in a real attempt, dying in World 7 means you're resetting. So you'll notice that there was a blue shell in that roulette block there. It's there's a really dumb strat I could do where I use the blue shell that's currently in my inventory, and then you swim faster underwater when you have a blue shell. So the idea is that you swim through the level with that and grab the blue shell out of the roulette block. But that's an extremely risky strategy to go for. It saves like 10 seconds, but if you get the wrong thing out of the roulette block, it runs over. Shoutouts to World 4.
Yeah, our buddy Tonic got to experience World 4 in a I don't know if it was a blind race, but they did a casual race a few weeks ago. I don't think it was very fun.
Despite that long swimming level there, World 4 is much slower than 3.
Oh, it was even better, even better. Just completely blind World 4.
Poor Tonic.
I remember watching part of it and just being thoroughly entertained at the various bouts of shenanigans. So we're taking this secret exit here. And this level is really annoying to do without fire, so thankfully I didn't lose it in the last level.
So just to remind everybody, we're going to cut off the Disney bid war at the end of this run. So basically, when the timer stops for this run, we will cut off the Disney bid war. So if you want to donate, if you have a spirit bomb left in you for Aladdin, or if you want to make Lion King further ahead, you got to get it in before this run is over.
Yeah, to answer the question in the chat, I'm playing this on Wii U Virtual Console. And the only difference between the Virtual Console version and the DS version is load times. Though I prefer the Wii U personally, just because restore points make it a godsend to practice some really tricky parts. That triple jump I did there at the blue switch is a lot tighter than I made it look. As before, I was delaying one of my jumps just enough so I wouldn't trigger a triple jump before then. And that's some things that you gotta do with some of the triple jumps in this game. Is sometimes you want to triple jump, and other times you want to save it for like one jump later.
I gotta say, if it's tighter than it looks, I can't imagine doing that because I held my breath thinking you would like fall, you were gonna fall. I was like, oh crap! And it was fine.
So, that Womp's hitbox is something special.
What in the world?
It's, I've once been completely past it, like, visually completely past it, and it still hits me. So, I have not been able to figure out a consistent way to get past it, because it's seemingly random. So I just go for it, and if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. So this fish boss is really random. It jumps out when it feels like it. And so do the small fish. There is a way to get a one cycle on this boss, but it's entirely random whether or not you'll have the opportunity to get it. But considering a lot of things, that was one of the better fish bosses I've had. So this is where the any percent run picks up, except in any percent I'd be wearing a shell still. This level's gimmick is there's those snowbanks that, well, that was interesting, that fall off the trees, and if you hit them, you fall to the ground. And then you have to mash buttons to get out of it. You may have noticed in that block back there that my momentum completely stopped, and that's one of the worst features of this game when it comes to its physics. If you land on the exact corner of a block, you stop completely. And this can also happen with platforms that are moving up and down, which becomes a real big problem for 8-4. You can make it not happen if you land on the platform while crouching, but that's really risky to do. And I've also tried to implement strats where you expect the pixel stop to happen, but in my experience, you either you don't get it when you want it, and you get it when you don't want it.
Can I read a donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's about to get really interesting, my friends. We got $117.32 from Thingishness. Please put the right amount of this towards Aladdin to make it tied with Lion King, because I want to see both, and Chaos. Put the rest towards I Ate Your Pie for best lulz. $5,000 hype. Thank you so much. We made it to $5,000 with that donation. Thank you to everybody who's donated. The next marker, by the way, the next milestone that we have, if we had one, is that JRTA3 raised $5,500. So we'll see if we can surpass that. But in the meantime, it's about to get crazy in here because the Disney bid war is tied.
Oh, baby.
Somewhere Rip Killa is sitting with a thing of Fireball, thinking he wasn't going to have to do his run today.
So I always keep a fire flower right there because, you know, while you're not supposed to lose any time on auto scrollers, like I never put it past myself to do something stupid and run, so I always keep it there as an insurance policy. There's coin number 15.
Yay.
All that time I spent flailing around on 2A was worth it. Hey, I got the blind door. So yeah, you can jump a little further than the screen is showing up to a certain point. You can't go up the entire thing blind, and because it hasn't loaded some of the platforms yet. So anyway, speaking of star coins, this is the, oh, why did you move down there? I'm going to use 5 coins to go a separate path here. So I'm going to save here because that Hammer Brothers spawned right there, and there's a very good reason for that. You could decide to throw an item at me that I really don't want. Well, actually that works out perfectly, so... I was expecting a mini mushroom, and I really didn't want that. So I'm just gonna ditch that one now that I don't need it. I have never ever had that happen in a run before, so there's yeah, that's never happened before moment. I've had it happen in practice.
Yeah, as you can see, the blue shell is a pretty quick way of moving throughout the level. It's a little difficult to control, though. Especially for some of the levels that you'll be using it in. I think 8-1 comes to mind.
8-1 makes it a lot nicer, but you can't miss a single jump. I did not mean to go back into this level. Even in games where you mostly hold right, menus matter. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a mini mushroom here. So if everything goes right in World 7, I won't need to spend the 5 coins that I have right now. So like I mentioned earlier back in World 2, World 5 is another one that has a split path. So I'm going to get to the boss of this level and then use the mini mushroom once he's down to his last hit. Okay. We're good. We're less good. I'm just gonna do this. And reload the level. We're doing fine for a while after World 2, and then that had to happen. I'm making a lot of new mistakes to myself here, so we're all experiencing new things today. Okay, that's what was supposed to happen. We'll just ignore the previous bout of mistakes there.
What
Except
mistakes?
that one, oh my god.
Oh,
Ah.
I believe you can do it. And just so everybody knows, the Disney Bid War is tied, and it's anybody's game right now. So if you wanna see Lion King, or if you wanna see Aladdin, you have the power right now to make that a reality.
It has been so long since I've done this, the quote-unquote true way. Jesus.
well, you just got the checkpoint.
I did. Alright, so PD Piranha, like in other Mario games that could be mentioned, is incredibly random. And so far he's given me a pretty decent pattern. Basically, the randomness is on how many times he decides to pass you. And he only passed me once, so I'll take that. The good luck makes up for all the deaths earlier, right?
Always.
Always. So this is World 7. I've talked a lot about it before, and for good reason. Any category that goes through this world just has a fun time. So, Mini Mushroom has really floaty physics, as you can tell. And it makes learning these levels even more challenging. It does mean you can get a lot further than before, though, so you're kind of jumping over a lot of the obstacles. It's always convenient when there just happens to be a block right where you need it to be, and that's a good example of it there in 7-1.
This is our first ghost house?
Yep, the first and only ghost house in this category. And thankfully, being mini, I can cheese a lot of it right here. Actually, in the next room as well, assuming I can get the triple jump.
Yo, good triple jump.
So the intended way of doing that room is there's a hidden vine in one of the blocks there. Missing that triple jump turns it into a pretty scary situation because you gotta go back and get the vine, and there's barely enough time to do it. So this level by far is the hardest one in the run, not only because there are spikes everywhere, but because you have to defeat Bowser Jr. as in mini form. And much like the first tower that I did, there's a lot of crazy cycles I could be going for right now, but for sake of my sanity and marathon safety, I'm not going to do that. The wall jump I did on one of the spikes there, the spikes act very odd when you're mini. Like right here, the spikes that I'm facing, if you run at those full speed, you will die. I'm not exactly sure how the physics work with all that, but... And I'm sure somebody in the task community for this game could explain that. Did not ground pound. So there's Bowser Jr. sporting his bandana. Oh, I got it in one cycle.
Wow.
That is really hard to do.
That was really close.
The timing between each of those ground pounds is pretty tight. And not only that, you're adjusting for where you get sent after each ground pound too.
Yo, it's another hammer, bro.
Yeah, he's kind of in a interesting spot. Okay, we're good.
Yo, it's more of your favorite things.
Don't remind me, man. I want to block that out of my memory. I forgot where I was going for a second there. So after all that, this pipe up here is what we need to get. Oh my. Okay.
Thank goodness, we have nobody here to dab for us.
We've made it through the terror that is World 7, and you know, out of all the places that I've made these deaths and mistakes, I was expecting it to be in those last 4 levels, but, you know, isn't that just life for you?
That's speedrunning in a nutshell, man.
Whoops. So this is basically a glorified auto-scroller, so if there's any donations to run, now is a pretty good time for it.
We do not have any new donations, but we do have some information about the upcoming file incentive, or the upcoming incentives beyond even the Disney Bid War, which ends at the end of this run. So if you do want to see Aladdin or Lion King, then you know, you can snipe that and have one or the other. And then after that, we have the Link's Awakening file name, which is currently very close. Let me pull up the sheet here. It is $57 for Iwata and $50 for Donguri. So that's a very close bid war, and you guys could definitely snipe that one. And that is the next one coming up, I believe. And then after that, we have Final Fantasy VII character names. We have Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, Aeris, and Red 13, and Sid. All of which are definitely snipeable, except for maybe Aeris. Thanks to the the generous donation to do the thing.
So what are
But,
you guys gonna do on the Disney one in the event of a tie? It looks like there's some collusion going on here.
No comment.
No comment.
Right now, they're getting Ribkilla blindfolded to do Lion King.
The marathon will not continue until one more cent goes to one of these incentives.
We could see a snipe.
All I will say is, in the event of a tie, we have prepared a tiebreaker.
Oh man.
Oh, I just messed up the one cycle.
Look at this edgy Lakitu.
Come on down. There we go.
So is this randomness too, where how long it takes him to come down?
No, it's the same every time. I just missed the ground pound.
Okay.
If you miss the ground pound, then it's random when he comes down. But anyway, you could see from the beginning of that fight I ground pounded. You're supposed to hop off of him and then ground pound him to get a one cycle. I almost got it there. And I'm going to enter this level saying 8-1 is certainly a level, and I'll leave it at that. Ah. Higher than I expected, but I'll take that 8-1 any day. When things go wrong in this level, they go wrong in a big way. Like, if you mess up the first half of the level at all, you're going to have all of the crows in different spots than you expect. Keep the fire flower in my inventory while I still can. So the task of this game has a really silly route where they go through the small pipe right there, and that entirely hinges on getting a mini mushroom from a red block or keeping it from World 7. I'm gonna have to hold back here. So, something I haven't mentioned until now is how fireworks work in this game. If the last two digits of the clock end on the same number, you get fireworks, and you get one per each of the number that it was. So if I got 3 there, it would be 3 fireworks. Which one, and when you get fireworks, a mushroom house also spawns at the beginning of the world, and what kind of mushroom house you get depends on the number as well. 1 through 3 gets you a mushroom house. I believe 4 through 6 is 1-ups, and 7 through 9 is the mega mushroom. The one that makes you giant, and then you can barge through all the blocks and enemies.
Is that ever used in the speedrun in any of the categories?
I'm not sure if 100% uses it or not. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, though. 100% is a really silly category because you gotta get all the star coins in every single level. And a lot of those require you to have the mini mushroom for extended periods of time, so having backups, or they are mushroom houses that are along the world, or just one that you can spawn yourself. It's very helpful. Alright, I can save about 10 seconds if this Hammer Brother drops me a blue shell. And there it is.
Wow, that's 2 from 3 Hammer Bros.
I sold my soul away for good luck for this run, apparently.
So swimming, as you may have noticed in World 3, is really slow. But the blue shell does speed it up a good bit. As I said, to the tune of 10 seconds throughout this level.
Not only that, you have a lot better control over turning underwater as well. It feels kind of strange to say that it feels like you're swimming in ice without a blue shell, but it's the best description I have for it. Because your turns are really wide without a shell. So yeah, now that I have a blue shell right here, the run is basically just any percent from this point. There's no extra star coins needed for anything. No split paths in this world. Dodge the gigantic fireworks of 99 right there. That actually, getting the shell also makes this level a lot easier, because what I mentioned before with pixel stops is they can also happen on these platforms that move up and down, but when you're spinning in shell form, you don't have to worry about that, so it makes this level a lot more consistent. You know, when I'm not assuming that assuming that you perform correctly.
Oh no.
I can't state enough that controlling that blue shell on land is a real pain in the butt. It is, it makes it really awkward.
So upcoming is probably the hardest boss in the game. It's Dry Bowser. I want to say that this game was the first game Dry Bowser made an appearance on, but I don't know if that's true or not. It's the first game that I remember seeing him in.
To our trusty friend Google, I think you're right. Yeah, first appearance in Super Mario Bros. And I apologize for the dog.
Ugh. Okay.
Oh my god.
I took some damage, but we made it. So, this bridge is something special when it comes to overworld movement. Whenever a block or a Hammer Brother crosses it, it's 3 seconds. And the old world record for any percent had that happen 4 times.
Yeah, World 8 is it's very long. I think in any percent, isn't it like more than half the run? Is
It's
World 8?
2/3 of the run, basically.
Yay for me, Luigi! Luigi!
This World 8 has 11 levels. That area is a little awkward to go through without fire.
So this level has some screen wrapping. Very nice and advantageous. Is this supposed to just be a play on the original Mario Bros?
Yeah, that's what I assume they drew inspiration from. One thing to mention about the lava in that level is, you didn't see it because I didn't mess up the trampoline part there in the middle more than once, but it'll catch up to you immediately as soon as you move the camera down far enough, so it doesn't matter how fast you move through that level, the lava's always right behind you.
Just a last quick note, as we near the end of this run, this is the last chance to donate for the Disney Bid War if you want to see one of those two games, either The Lion King or Aladdin. There's currently a tie, so you can either donate for one of them, or you can leave it at a tie and put your donation towards another incentive like the LADX file name or Final Fantasy VII character names. And keep in mind that we do have a grand prize running. If you donate $20 over the course of the marathon, it doesn't all have to be in one donation. You're entered to win a Super Famicom courtesy of Retro Psycho. So thank you very much to him for donating a ton of the prizes for this marathon. And if you want to get in on that, make sure you get your donation in.
So 8-8 is incredibly random, just because of where all the blocks, or where all the rocks decide to fall. Thankfully, I had pretty favorable spawns. Where I got that star in the middle, if a rock is on the same spot where you hit it, the block will disappear and the star will not spawn. So you gotta be really careful about that. Alright, so I'm doing a damage boost here, which you need to be fire power for. And if I do this right, I'm gonna hit the checkpoint. So that skips a whole chunk of the auto-scroller there. And the last thing I need to do in this level, aside from obviously not dying, I need to get Fire Flower again. In an ideal scenario, I would have had one in my inventory already, but I need Fire Flower so I can do 2 more damage boosts in the final level coming up. Now's probably the last good time during the run for any donations or reminders of what's coming up.
I'll tell you what's coming up. That is the end of this run.
We can hope. With some of the performances earlier, that is coming into question. So, when the commercials for this game first came out, they made a pretty big deal about how the screen can rotate the levels, which that mechanic is only seen in this level. So, I just found it funny that they would do that. That was not the damage boost I was looking for. This is the first one. The second one is coming up later, but damage boosting now might be a little bit ill-advised.
What
see
is
if-
the worst thing that could happen?
Well, we'll see if I take my advice. This is the spot where the other damage boost would be. And they're throwing a little bit of classic Mario goodness right here, where you have to go down specific paths. Alright, this is a pretty tricky jump I gotta do here. Time's coming up when I hit the switch.
Please tell me. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
I am a little surprised it took me that long to die there while I was crouching in shame. Well, I've taken you guys on quite the ride today.
I've enjoyed it.
I have as well.
Well, as long as people enjoyed it, that's all I could really ask for. And time. I'm going to guess a 54.
Lower.
53.
There you go.
Okay.
5309.
I'm surprised it wasn't a 54, but
Well, it was a good run. We had
there was
fun.
good luck. At least I can give it that.
You got those blue shells like it was nobody's
Yeah.
business.
Yep.
Right in the blue shells, man.
So now I guess there's the matter of the tie to deal with. That should be
Yes, and I have the results. As Spike Vegeta once famously said, ladies and gentlemen, there's a tie. Oh wait, no, he said let him die. That's what it was. Anyway, the point is there's a tie. We'll tell you how we break the tie when we come back. You gotta stay tuned.
oh, the cliffhanger.
Thanks, Ryan Seacrest.
I'm working on it.
All right, thanks for having me.